Gehraaiyan is a Shakun Batra directed movie, who is also known for his direction of a beautiful Bollywood movie, Kapoor and Sons. It is natural we all expect the director of such a movie like Kapoor and Sons to incorporate the same essence into this movie as far as our subject of infidelity or adultery goes. Let's start with talking about the movie right away. Gehraaiyan, which translates to depth in English, is a movie that stands for what the title is. So much so that Shakun Batra decided to include a lot of wave scenes in between the movie. Gehraaiyan deals with a lot of themes, most importantly adultery, obviously which our Bollywood hasn't been able to showcase a lot in the mainstream, to be honest. The suspicions are obvious about why that is, seeing the reaction Gehraaiyan got even before its release. We will come to this later. Gehraaiyan deals with people's insecurities, inferior complexity, trust issues, childhood traumas, power dynamics influence, unethical corporate practices, moral dilemmas. Most importantly, very few people are talking about, that is addiction or dependency on drugs to cope, and different ways of waves. Gehraaiyan is not made for all kinds of audiences, and the one who can't stand these three factors will not be able to digest the movie completely, so better to avoid watching for indigestion issues. Trust me, I know how that feels. Am I oversharing? First, ones who are seriously sensitive towards topics related to betrayals in the relationship or have constant feeling of insecurities as it might trigger them. Second, ones who are not used to such topics and find this a waste subject to talk about, as this doesn't do any good to anyone to showcase miserable people and their lives who are so full of stupidity and lust. On that note, third, ones who are so unbelievable that they are advising or questioning Deepika if she had taken permission from Ranveer Singh to do a movie like this, or basically the intimate scenes with Siddhant Chaturvedi. Seriously? The controversy behind Gehraaiyan is irrelevant. People who are talking against the intimate scenes shown should know that there was an intimacy director to manage such tasks. Please learn about an intimacy director's roles and responsibilities to understand better. And this is their job. If a scene requires both the artist's intimacy, then they will do it as long as they are comfortable. And yes, their spouses as well in some special cases. The end of this discussion. Story-wise, Gehraaiyan fails to bring out motivations of the characters inside the movie except Deepika's character. We know whatever she is doing is due to her situation, and that involves her dealing with her childhood trauma of seeing her mother tormented in her loveless marriage with her father. But apart from her, we never learn what's the motivation behind any character in the movie for their particular actions in a scene. For example, why Zain chokes Alisha to death? What got over him that he can do such a thing? We have seen his growing obsession to get things done anyhow for his business, but this just doesn't justify the fact he will try to kill someone he loves. Or does he even love? Which brings us to the next point, where we see the growing intimacy between both the people in a fast pace. The growing intimacy between Alisha and Zain went upwards really quickly. Perhaps that's what the story and the time limit of the movie demanded. But can it be a part of the story that the intimacy developed was to a certain level of physical intimacy only, and not much of an intellectual or emotional intimacy? So not actually love you Zain. Gehraaiyan seems to encapsulate a modern day relationship in an obsessive corporate environment from Siddharth's point of view, and shows the complexity of the characters and their stories which shape their lives. Deepika shines in her performance, as Ranveer also said it. Permission allowed. Siddhant did a great job. Gehraaiyan and Nasruddin Shah were good as well, while Ananya was also there. Just kidding. At least saw her in some different intensity here. That's a plus one from my side for Ananya Pandey. But I must say that Rajat Kapoor, he was fantastic in his performance. I think the cast conversation scene really brings out his character's potential for him as an actor. On an almost final note, one thing Gehraaiyan captures best, apart from the metaphorical waves, is the obliviousness of grown-up kids towards their own parents. When the big twist of the movie hits both Deepika as Alisha and we as audiences right at our faces that her mom had an affair with the father of Tia, her cousin, played by Ananya Pandey. This is the moment we realize that Alisha was wrong throughout her life until now. To think of her father as a wrongdoer and her mom as the victim of the story, while it is totally opposite. Alisha learns that her father was so cooperative in his marriage with her mother that he even talked about it to her and advised to move on, unlike her husband Karan, played by Dhari Karwa. Karan, you were a writer, bro. I had expectations from you. This sort of communicates to all of us that while we might compare the movie Gehraaiyan with our parents' married life, which seems a bit problematic on the surface, but it's all going okay with them, might not really be as fine as we think. There must be a history, and that doesn't have to be a nasty one with pinch of adultery between parents, but something that distances them emotionally and mentally. This is how movie hits a hammer on the point that many people made on how this movie just doesn't work out simply because it either isn't relatable for them or doesn't make them feel good. While we all compare the movie with real life saying it's not relevant, the movie speaks out on the secrecy, a reality of people's life that they might not be aware about, which in a way it eventually influenced them to consider Gehraaiyan as a bad portrayal of their relationships. Well, that is the whole point of the movie. It doesn't show you a good portrayal because there cannot be one due to the people's actions. People in Gehraaiyan are messy, affected, pressured, insecure, stupid also to think this is going well, but real. This is our life. It's not perfect, might be a little or a whole lot complicated, but we are still living it, and we do every day by giving us a chance to move on from our miseries and heal from the things that happened. Thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you like it. And this is perhaps my first video as a review of a movie, so I hope you will like it. And if you do, please like and comment down below how you find this review, and if I miss any point that I should have mentioned here, then please write down in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinions about it, and thank you so much. Hope to see you again.